So, if you could then, Redhead, if you could give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself, your name, your username, of course, we see it there, but if you want to go ahead, go back over it, your age or current year that you are in here at Assumption, and as well as your current major.
Sure. So I am Redhead Dude 619. I go by Red, but my real name's Ryan. I am a junior at Assumption University. I'm a double major, finance and Spanish, international business minor, and I've been captain of the Rocket League team for Assumption for the past 3 years.
Awesome. Very, very lengthy career behind you then. Very, very illustrious. I like it. I like it. And you said you are competing in Rocket League. Have you been competing in Rocket League for quite some time, or have you just has that always been your game of choice, or did you compete in other esports before that?
So prior to Assumption, I've been playing Rocket League since around 2015. Been just playing, and then I took a year off after, like, once just starting, because when I was playing I didn't really find it interesting, and then found the niche of, okay, I want to get better at this game. I knew I had some sort of skill when it came to playing it, and then applying that, and figuring out that like esports was an option. I was That's what got me back into it.
Of course, it's always finding those little bits and tricks that really draw you back in. You're like, dang, I didn't know about that. Now I got to go practice that, right?
Yeah.
All right. And you said you are the captain of the team, but are you also like the shot caller of the Rocket League team? Are you primarily the one that that's the coach, the analyst as well?
So, in terms of that, it's been a little bit hazy and hasty because over the past 3 years at Assumption, we've had three different coaches,
Mm.
and it's been mainly just making sure, kind of like I was structuring the matches, making sure everyone was there, making sure everything was on set, on page, everything was going correctly.
I bet, and to take that all on and be able to have an excellent career like this, getting a scholarship, I think that is a fantastic kind of route in as well. So congratulations on that, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. What kind of drew you to Assumption in the first place? Was it, that one moment like you were talking about before? It was just, hey, I'm going to put in my application, or was there something about the school that really drew you in?
So it was a mixture of both. When it came to Assumption, the minute I drove onto campus, it was that homeliness feeling. You felt like you were at home, just with like the student body and how all the faculty were. It didn't feel like it was mainly staged just for that day. More or less, it felt like that's how everything was and that's how everything is. I was given the choice between Roger Williams University, Providence College, and Assumption, and as soon as the coach reached out to me, that just like obviously sealed the deal. Um, but I mean, I have absolutely no regrets for choosing Assumption over the rest. Like, it's just been an amazing experience.
That's awesome to hear, and it's always nice that the school itself, you don't feel like you're just competing, right? It doesn't feel like, hey, I'm just here to compete and then I'll go home. It's I actually really enjoy it here, so that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So taking a look so far, I know you said you've been the captain for about 3 years here. What has been your favorite part of competing thus far with the Rocket League team?
So my favorite thing about competing, honestly, has it was probably when we went to ASG this past semester
Mm,
and got second and actually competed on stage. Like, that whole feeling of was it was ridiculous. It was amazing, so surreal. Like, I stream Rocket League on the side, but when it comes to actually like competing in person, it was like completely just life changing at that point.
of course, that's when you knew that you really wanted to do it, right? It really solidified that drive to keep pushing forward. It sounds like. What has been your favorite part about the program itself? Has there been anything that you've really enjoyed about it? Maybe the people or the faculty, or even just the way it's run? Or is there anything particular that really stands out to you?
So my favorite thing, honestly, we actually just had a hype night last night, that esports was actually invited to.
Oh.
And to see how everyone reacted to esports really was probably my most favorite thing about how it was run, because now that everything's back up in play, it we were at the gym where it was being held, and when they mentioned all of esports, every single person cheered the loudest I think I've ever heard anyone cheer. Like it was it was insane. We were like, wow, like this is this is not something small anymore. This is big.
It's real life. It's definitely a different swing, especially if you're not used to it, right? The idea that, gamers maybe just kind of sit down, they're kind of a lonely crowd, but to hear a cheer like that, I bet was life-changing as well for that regard.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that in mind, especially having been competing for about 3 years, and I know you said you stream as well, are there any goals for the future of your competitive career? Are you planning to try and take this further than college, or are there any other options that you are considering once you kind of exit Assumption's program?
Yeah, so my main goal, so with with the exception of esports, like esports, I will always like continuously set goals. So throughout my life, I have been doing martial arts for the past 16 years. I'm a third degree black belt, and goal setting and perseverance is just like in my blood at this point. And anything that I do, like my next step with esports, probably I'm making connections outside with different like RLCS coaches, different people that are like up there. Like there's some SSL ranks that are bringing me into like custom matches, just teaching me like different maneuvers, different things, and everything, and giving me like little pointers. But there's so much that can be expanded on with esports that it's never ending at that point.
That's awesome to hear that you are still, though, continuing, as you said, trying to reach out to some of those other coaches, making those connections, and it's awesome to hear that the doors have been opened, right? Not a lot of people, sit there and go, "Oh, maybe I could do this on the outside," but to know that you're already looking forward to those opportunities, I think is so forward thinking as well, and that's really, really impressive.
Thank you. I've had different organizations even reach out to me this past semester. They were like, listen, after you graduate, if you're open to it, we want to recruit you. If you're around like GC3 SSL, then we'll even recruit you prior to that rank and you can continue grinding. But once you hit that rank, we'll take you on competitively. I'm like, wow.
Wow. That's so cool. The opportunities, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, congratulations on that. And I know we touched on it a little bit, and it's not within the standard for the interview, but I'd love to hear about you kind of overcoming some of the challenges here as a captain, especially being, it sounded like during your freshman year, pretty much, you were thrown into this position that you were not expecting and yet expected to fill these roles. So, what has been some of the more challenging aspects of getting used to the captain's role and taking over the Rocket League team?
Yeah, so when it came down to the captains, like I mentioned, we just went through our third coach. The freshman year coach, he was kind of like he wasn't really there. Like it was almost like student ran Rocket League. He was mainly league. And so what happened was I was like, okay, we're gonna do this game. We have this game scheduled at this time. We got to make sure we get practice in beforehand and make sure that we're all on time. We don't want to have obviously there's a 15-minute buffer, but we don't want to like extenuate it. With the sophomore year, the coach mainly had two rosters, and when it came down to it, no one really took it seriously. So the drive really wasn't there in a sense, and it really like the coach just kind of up and left, and it mainly affected not just the team but or the teams but just everything in general. So it's been trying to get everything back in line.
Trying to get everything back in ship shape order, and honestly, it's very impressive that you have overcome those barriers for sure. The fact that you are still working towards that goal, like you said, of getting on to a higher stage, really showing Assumption what for, and even through all that, it sounds like you have a healthy amount of respect for the Assumption organization, right, or the esports
Absolutely.
program, and that is, I think, a very respectful and commendable value to have, right? Having respect for an organization, even though there was a specific person that may or may not have made it very challenging for you. So I, I guess the best way is I highly look up to your level of willpower, right? I really want to get your final thoughts here. Is there anyone that you would like to give a huge shout out to or a big thank you for helping you along as well? Anyone within the program or even outside the program that has really been almost a mentor or a good friend or anything of that sort to you along your journey here with Assumption?
Absolutely. So, in terms of everything that has happened, I have to give obviously a huge thanks to my parents because, like, they're the ones that raised me to, like, not be a quitter and all that. And my boss, my martial arts instructor, who I've been with, like I mentioned, for 16 years, he's the one that's taught me all the life lessons. Like, if he never taught me the life lessons that I now know and live by, I wouldn't be the same person that I am today. There's been a lot of physical challenges in my life, mental challenges in my life. When it came down to it, he mainly was the one that taught me like perseverance, self discipline, obviously modesty and courtesy. When it comes down to everything, um, even my students that I teach, because I'm a martial arts instructor, I learn so much from them and they inspire me to motivate every single person that I'm around. Like, even if they're negative, even if they're positive, if they're having an off day, on day, when it comes down to it, my goal in life is to help out as many people as I can, motivate them to do the best they can, and have them give it their all and not give up when something's tough, to overcome those hurdles and achieve mainly anything in their life, whether it's school related, education, athletic related, just even real life. Because life nowadays is not the easiest. And when it comes down to it, if there's that motivational factor or end of it, someone they can turn to or someone they can look up to, in that sense, that's my goal in life, is to motivate as many people as possible.
That's awesome to hear. You sound like you have an amazing support staff behind in your parents as well as in your instructor, right? And even in this program, it sounds like you're also building up a great camaraderie with the rest of the team as well. So it's really cool and awesome to hear some of that deep wisdom that you got in there.